Thanks for being here with us tonight for KREM 2 News at 6 o'clock. I'm Cody Proctor. Mark and Whitney are on assignment. Well, the Spokane International Airport is growing right along with Spokane County, and it is trying to keep up with all of its travelers. Despite the challenges that came with the pandemic, its projections of growth remain the same today. As part of our Boomtown coverage, KREM 2's Amanda Rowley shares what changes we can expect for our next flight at the Spokane Airport.
In late 2019, just before the pandemic began, I sat down with the CEO of the Spokane International Airport. Now, at that time, the airport reached a record of just more than 4 million passengers. Now, by 2030, it's expected to serve more than 6.2 million. Now, most of the plans we talked about 3 years ago that accommodate that growth remain the same today. And you're ready for it?
We are. If you look at our long-range plans, I think the focus on expandability and flexibility is really going to serve the airport well.
Spokane International Airport CEO Larry Crowder told me in 2019, part of that long-range plan includes the Terminal Expansion Project, referred to as TREX. The project includes expanding Terminal C, a new security checkpoint for Terminals A and B, a central baggage claim hall, and building a curbside canopy.
We want them to really walk in and say, wow, what a great community and what a wonderful experience I had while transiting through the airport.
But these plans have room for even further growth.
These facilities that we're going to build in the TREX project are really going to be built with the expandability in mind. So it's easy to say, okay, we can drop a wall and expand in this direction instead of, oh, what are we going to do now?
The airport also realigned the roadway leading into the airport, which created more parking. Since 2019, GEG added 6 nonstop flight destinations. Crowder hopes to add more.
Crowder says there is a plan and the space for a third runway, but he says we don't need one quite yet.
He says planes are getting bigger, which could mean fewer landings and takeoffs, but still more people. But if that trend doesn't stick, GEG could need a third runway sooner than later.
My sense is it's still a very long-range project, so probably beyond the 15, 20 or more years out before we're really going to need to take a serious look at that.
All right, so airport executives hope to submit a building permit application in the spring, and then construction for TREX could start this summer. So things are moving and grooving.
Yeah, you could say they're pretty much taking off right now.
Yes, they are taking off.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for that coverage right there. Looking forward to those changes as they come in the future. And because we have covered so many great stories this week on how the Inland Northwest is booming, so if you would actually like our latest Boomtown stories sent right to your phone, we could do that. Just text Boomtown to 509-448-2000.
I believe that her comments were racist. I have known that woman for 30 years, and I do not believe she is a racist, but what she wrote was racist.
Spokane Prosecutor Larry Haskell speaking for the first time publicly since his wife's racist comments on social media were uncovered. This comes more than 2 weeks after the Inlander first reported on those comments. Our own Ian Smay was at that press conference today and is joining us now live in the newsroom with more. Ian.
Spokane County Prosecutor Larry Haskell had only released written statements about that article in the Inlander. Today he apologized for her comments, going as far as calling them racist, but Haskell said he doesn't share his wife's views. Larry Haskell spoke in front of the press for the first time today since the Inlander reported on January 27th about racist comments his wife Leslie made on far-right social media platform Gab.
I believe the comments are racist, absolutely. And as I said, they're reprehensible and they've caused a lot of pain. And I humbly apologize for them.
Haskell wouldn't go as far as saying his wife Leslie is racist.
I believe that her comments were racist. I have known that woman for 30 years. And I do not believe she is a racist, but what she wrote was racist.
After the news of Leslie's comments broke, some called into question if it affects Haskell's work as the county's prosecutor. Haskell said he didn't share the same views his wife expressed in her social media posts.
I do not ascribe to, nor do I practice such views. Those views belong to my wife. They are hers alone.
He also said he ensures that his office doesn't base their cases off of a suspect's race or ethnicity.
I have told many of my employees, make sure you search for the right answer, not a convenient answer, and certainly not an agenda-driven answer.
Spokane Human Rights Commissioner Anwar Peace was watching the press conference. While Haskell said he knew his wife's comments caused pain for the community, Peace doesn't think his statements went far enough.
I was really hoping that this press conference was going to be a start of healing in our community, and instead, he's just poured gasoline on the fire.
It's been a little more than 2 weeks since the Inlander first reported on Haskell's wife's comments. Peace said it was disappointing to see Haskell wait so long to address the comments.
I was really disappointed in Larry on not doing this press conference sooner. And the fact that now he's getting statewide attention, now he feels like he needs to address the state. Well, I thought he represents Spokane.
Peace also took issue with another part of Haskell's statements. At one point, Haskell called on all public leaders, including himself, to take a pledge to not use any racially disparaging language when discussing the criminal justice system.
He wants us to sign a pledge. How dare he? How dare he? This is disgusting on so many different levels. And that's why I believe that it's time for this gentleman to resign.
Haskell is up for re-election this year. Peace said he knows of at least one person who is planning to run against Haskell. And if you would like to watch Haskell's full statement from this afternoon, just text us the word Haskell to 509-448-2000. In the newsroom, Ian Smay, KREM 2 News.
Ian, thank you so much. Well, moving on now, starting tonight, Gonzaga students braving the cold for one last tent city this season. After COVID-19 forced the cancellation of Tent City last month, students are back and ready to support the Zags. Students will line up tonight through tomorrow for GU's game against rival St. Mary's. Now, this is a huge game for the Zags, and students are proving their dedication to the #1 seed basketball team. And of course, tonight will also be a test to prove their dedication because it could reach below freezing for us this evening. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick joining us now outside in our outdoor weather center. And Thomas, I see that number right there. It looks like it's going to be more than a little chilly tonight. Do you think they'll be all right camping out there?
I think they'll be all right. Those kids are quite resilient. They've certainly been through some very nasty weather. Honestly, I think it's worse when it rains or snows when it's wet outside. It is going to be a dry night, but it will be a cold night. It is February. It is still winter after all. 39 degrees right now. That already down from 49, which was our high temperature just a couple hours ago. So with the clear skies, we're losing the heat pretty fast out here for tonight. Clear skies overhead, only a few leftover cirrus clouds, and we had a beautiful sunset about an hour ago, but it got dark pretty quickly as well. Just as quickly, those temperatures continue to fall. Not just below freezing, which we really are getting pretty much every single night, but well down into the 20s, about 24 degrees for the low temperature early tomorrow morning. Keep that in mind if you are an early riser, if you walk the dog or do some early exercise. It will be a little bit colder than it has been in some recent mornings. There are those low temperatures for tomorrow, could even be in the teens in some areas just to the north of Spokane. And this is how we start the weekend, but don't worry, the sunshine still warms us up plenty during the day. We'll show you those high temperatures for the weekend and your Valentine's Day forecast in a few moments.
Thomas, thank you so much. And moving on now to check in with today's top stories, a developing story from last night. A Spokane man charged with first-degree murder in the shooting death of his father made his first appearance today. 24-year-old Drake Hughes is accused of shooting and killing his father Jason at a home last night. According to probable cause documents, Hughes called the police at about 8 p.m. Documents say he told police he shot his father multiple times in the head and that he wasn't breathing. According to documents, he told police he had told his father by phone that he was going to kill him beforehand, and he took an Uber from his home to his dad's house on North Altamont Street. Hughes is being held on $1 million bond. His next court date is set for February 22nd. Reports of shots fired in the Dishman Hills Natural Area prompted a large police response yesterday afternoon. Today, a convicted felon was arrested for multiple felony and misdemeanor crimes stemming from that incident. Deputies arrested 21-year-old Joel Young on burglary charges, plus unlawful possession of a firearm, possession of a stolen firearm, and reckless endangerment for discharging a firearm. A new 24/7 bilingual helpline launches this Valentine's Day. MIA, or Mujeres in Action, is launching the first Spanish and English domestic violence and sexual assault helpline. Callers will reach a bilingual advocate at 509-794-2028. That number is right there on your screen. And Premier Connection is working with MIA to offer a confidential support system to anyone experiencing a crisis due to domestic violence or sexual assault. As mentioned, it'll be available every day at any hour. The executive director of MIA, Hansel Sanchez, released this statement saying, "We've been getting calls after office hours and over the weekend from community members searching for support for their loved ones in abusive relationships." According to the National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey, 1 of 3 Latinx women and 1 of 3 Latinx men will experience physical and/or sexual violence in their lifetime. That's according to data from 2010 and 2012. Switching gears, a group of world-class runners are about to put Spokane on the map tonight. The first of its kind event happening this evening at the podium. Plus, a little later, how the popular word game Wordle saved a woman held captive for 17 hours. We'll be right back.